Hello, hello. It says that we are live. Welcome
Awesome.
to yeah, welcome to the Ask Your Mentor Anything live weekly sessions. And today we have Meg from Website for Translators and LS Marketing Academy.
Hello.
Hello, Meg. Welcome. Thank you for accepting my invitation and being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I was really excited for our today's topic. Just to mention that we are live in the Mentoring for Translators group. For those that want to become members, they can just apply, and you can always watch a public on the Facebook page of mine, Virginia Katsimpiri, and also my YouTube channel if you are not already a member. But please become a member if you want to see the interactivity and the comments. In the meantime, please do let us know where are you watching us from, and if the sound and the image is okay for you. Can you see us here as well? I see some people coming in. Yeah, I see the sound. I can hear the sound pretty well, but please do let us know. Yeah. Where are you watching us from? And if you have any questions for today's topic, which is about, let's talk about websites, common mistakes and must-have sections for maximum website effectiveness. That's the topic that Meg suggested, and I'm really excited to hear about it because I think that most of us want to hear about it. And also to mention that Meg is also an expert in websites for translators. So if you're a linguist or language professional in general, you can ask anything about your website, either if hello, Ileana Top. Hello, everybody from Italy. Hello to Italy. So if you have any questions about today's topic, your website, existing website, or if you want to revamp your website, or if you are about to create a new website, and if you have any questions for Meg, you can comment below this video, and we will see your comments and answer them during this live. And also Meg is a member of the Mentoring for Translators group, so she will see any of the following up upcoming comments of yours. So if you have any questions, please do comment below this video so as to be able to see them. And I'm going to ask Meg to introduce yourself, and then we're going to the most common questions from my mentees. So please, Meg, would you be kind to let us know a bit for your background?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Meg, and I run Websites for Translators. I've been doing that since 2011, I think. So we'll have our 10th anniversary next year. So we're preparing some nice bits and pieces. And yeah, my background is in marketing, but I've also worked in transcreation and copywriting as well. So it all kind of goes together.
Mm-hmm. And just to mention, for those that they might not know you already, that you have worked and experienced in transcreation and copywriting, but you are not a translator yourself. You're a marketing expert. You are expert in creating websites. And how did you start out in that profession, if you remember, and you would like to share that with us?
Yeah, so I do remember. So it was almost 10 years ago, but I do still remember. So I was actually starting my first year at university, and my mom is a translator, and my dad used to do web design. So I kind of joined the two together. I've done a simple website for my mom, and I've done another website for another colleague who was also a translator. And then with my friend, we thought that, well, maybe there is more demand. Maybe there are more translators who need websites. As it turned out, there were. So we have been quite busy ever since.
So your first client was a member of your family, is that correct?
Well, no, that wasn't a proper client. But our first client was actually, so we launched the website, Twitter, Facebook, and a couple of other social outlets just at the same time one day.
Okay.
And then within 24 hours, we got our first inquiry from Twitter.
Wow.
So the power of social media, really. Since that first inquiry, it has never stopped since. So we started kind of getting more and more inquiries, more and more recommendations, and that's how it kind of snowballed. So I was really happy about getting online and just seeing. Obviously, that was 10 years ago, so maybe the social media was even less saturated as well. But still, I think that it has magical powers.
Yeah, and I think that it's also your niche, that you are very niche down, and you didn't afraid to be a website designer for translators only. that's the most common problem I have with my mentees when I tell them that you have to niche down, you have to narrow down your specialization.
Yeah.
And the more you niche down, and the more the possibilities to find a client, and you are an example of that situation as well as a freelancer.
Yeah.
But you can,
and I think it also allows you to like really immerse yourself into that specialization, into that that one or two maybe areas of specialization to get to know your clients better, to go to industry events. Like all I do, well, apart from the marketing training that I do, is networking events with translators. I do translation conferences. So I just try to get as much. I just try to get to know translators better so that I can serve them better. And I think that's true for any other specialization while being a translator as well. So, and I think this is nowadays, the competition is becoming a little bit more fierce. And the specialization is one way of differentiating yourself.
Exactly, and you need to go to events, and that's the way we met. If you would like to mention people how we met, I think in person, because I knew you, I would follow you many years now. But I think in person we met last year in Bologna.
Yes, we did.
Conference. Yes, so we had a very lovely moment with a microphone and camera there because of Csaba.
has not been released yet.
We wait for that. Please do ask Csaba for that. Any one of you that you might remember me going asking you questions with the microphone was because of Csaba, and Csaba is responsible for the next step and what's going to happen with those videos. I'm really excited to see them as well. So let's wait for that. And you're the first one in my interviews that you answered that your first client was from social media. I'm really excited for that. Yes. That's another point of view that you can mention where to find your first client. So be there active in the social media. But do you remember the moment that you did scale up as a freelancer or a business later? A moment that you felt that you grow?
I don't remember the exact moment. I know that at some point I had to decide whether I want to go and work for someone else or just go and work on my own business. And I think from the moment that you decide that, it kind of, you start doing the right steps towards achieving that. So I was like, should I go and work for this advertising agency? That's such a great opportunity. Or should I go into transcreation? But then, and I tried all of these things alongside websites for translators. That was maybe 5 years ago. And then once I've decided that, no, I actually want to run my own business, I want to be responsible for that, I want to grow it, that's where things started happening, really. Yeah. So I think you have to make the decision and just go for it.
And focus one direction, yeah, because I had also the same as you to experiment in that direction, why not to add this? But when you focus, the truth is that you start seeing results, because when you, I try to be like half in-house, half freelancer, and then as an in-house. But when you step in many sides, you don't see the results that you want to see. You have to focus your energy and efforts in one direction to start seeing results. And do you remember the moment like you did scale up? I mean, a big client of yours, a huge project, or a year that your income like was exciting for you?
So actually, we're on our best year ever right now, which is good. And last year was also very good. But I do remember there were a few moments, like, you have milestones in your professional life. So there were moments where we exhibited at larger conferences like Language Show Live or the IAPT conference. Then that meant really a lot to me, and I could meet my clients, I could talk to them. And when we started also getting bigger requests for bigger websites from associations, that was also a good breakthrough moment.
Yeah, and also it's great that you share that with other translators, that you might have to attend events where your clients are, and might make translator events, because translators are your clients. But if your clients, for example, legal firms or whatever they are, you should attend events where your clients are.
Yeah. And really try to get to know them, like talk to them, and even you could ask them about working with translators, translation agencies, and what are what is their experience, what do they find difficult, and just get to know them a little bit better to be able to later on use that for your own sort of customer experience.
Right, and so you might have covered that already. What is your preferred or more efficient client acquisition strategy? I mean, it's networking and attending clients' events.
So yeah, but I don't like to just pick one.
Okay.
I think the most efficient is having an integrated strategy where you have a few different outlets of marketing integrated with each other. And I think that's what worked for us as well, very well. So you do have your own website, but you don't just say, oh, I'm just going to do email marketing and that's going to be my only stream of how I get clients, how I market myself. I think what works for us is different types of marketing for different types of people as well. So here we do have some email marketing, we have newsletters, then we do the networking and conferences to meet people face to face. Then we will do blog posts, then we would do some advertising. So it all kind of, I like to call it sort of like coherent marketing strategy, and just pick a few of those outlets to go together. And I think that's what works for us, because you can't appeal to everyone by just choosing this one strategy.
No, but I'm very curious, and I always ask if you have figured out which is the most efficient, like in numbers or quality of clients. Like for me, it was referrals, for example, most of the people, direct outreach or networking.
Yeah, well, referrals are a big thing as well for us. So once we do release a website, we get a lot of other people who are interested.
Okay. Were your studies in marketing or
marketing and advertising? Yes.
Okay, great. Do you have any relationship with mentoring, mentors, mentees? What is your relationship in general? Before we enter the topic.
Yeah. So, well, I do a level of mentoring as LSM Academy does. But these are sort of mostly on-demand videos, but we also have a level of private feedback. And that's how I do the sort of the mentoring bit. I did have a few one-to-one mentoring sessions as well. And also, well, we do have a mentoring program in Chartered Institute of Marketing that you can get matched with a sort of more advanced marketer and work with them as well. And I think translators have that as well. In many institutions where you can get matched, with a mentor, with a more experienced translator, and exchange experience.
Yeah, most of the associations, they have it in the UK or the US, but most of the times they are mentoring programs for the translation itself, like how to become a translator. Okay.
Yeah, for the profession.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So let's start with our topic, because I'm very curious. I know that I've made many mistakes with my website, and I have neglected a bit, if I can say like that, because I used to make or to have many clients without using my online presence, at least my website. But I think like I want to change that. And what I tell my mentees, that this is the right moment if you want to enhance and increase your online presence. What a better time period to do that than now, when we have like the coronavirus or the lockdown, and you never know if that will happen again in the future. So we have to increase our online presence, and also to have a better and better website. I have given some ideas about the website that I don't keep myself, but I like to tell people like what they should do, or what is
okay.
Yeah, I will try to be consistent myself later in the future. Are
you thinking of redesigning as well, or?
To be honest, many years, and I have approached you as well in the future, but I'm not that consistent to creating. It needs, and I really recommend that you do that yourself if you would like to go to a professional like Meg, to have a clear idea of what you want. because if you do not want, no one can help you. And that was my main problem, and I didn't continue because I really needed some time off, so as to have a clear mind, so as to understand what I want to do, because how to give you instructions, and then if you do not know what to do, and I know Meg is an expert and she might be able to help you, even if you don't know what to do, but that might take you like the double time in comparison if you had already something very specific in your mind and give specific instructions to someone to help you. Is that correct?
So we do actually have it's definitely correct. So we do have a couple of questionnaires that we send to people before we start working on the project. And actually quite a lot of people say, "Ooh, this is quite interesting. I haven't thought of that about my own business like that in a while."
It's a bit long though as well, because it needs the information for you, so as to have a clear idea of what your client wants.
So this, by doing this questionnaire, they kind of start getting an idea of, the target audience, of how they would like the website to look like, and I think that helps as well to figure out first what you, at least a little bit, sort of what you're aiming for.
Some general ideas or instructions. So as to help them out. Okay, so let's start with the 5 mistakes that you would like to talk about from your experience. So we're not going into technical details unless you want us. So if you have any questions, you can comment below this video and we will answer them. I'll try to answer them, but let's start to find out what are the most common mistakes when we create a website or when we see a translator's website.
So it's not just translators' website. I think those mistakes are kind of picked up across different industries, but they are also something that I've noticed while working with translators and some other industries as well. So I've summed it up to 5, but there is a few more sort of tips that I can give. Well, not mistakes, but tips that I can give, so that I'll talk about them later as well. So one of the most common mistakes, and I think we already touched upon this a little bit, is not knowing your audience before you start the design of the website. So not knowing who are you targeting, who will be reading the website, what kind of clients you want to get, what kind of clients will be reading the website, how you will market yourself, although you can decide on the marketing strategy exactly slightly later, but knowing the target audience is, I think, step 1 of the whole process. And no matter what you do in marketing, whether you're designing a website or creating a content campaign or email campaign, knowing the audience and who will be reading your copy, your website, your emails is super important. So defining and creating your ideal customer avatars. You've probably mentioned avatars
many times.
It's because, but they are often repeated, and we often talk about the avatars, but that's because they work. So once you do create your avatars, your personas, then you kind of have this idea in your head of who you're writing for, who you're preparing this for, who will be reading the copy. So it's really, really important to know who you want to attract, and maybe what kind of, when you're doing that, think a little bit ahead. So especially if you want to step up your business, think about the clients that you'd like to get. And maybe your most favorite client, or the projects that are your favorite projects that you'd like to get more of, so that you can target and mold your website into that direction, rather than just making it, a little bit too general and try to appeal to everyone. And there's a caveat to that. If you are just starting out and if you do not have your specializations yet, your avatars might be a little bit more general. So you won't have maybe clear specializations. You want to try different fields. So then I think it's okay to make the website a little bit more general. I do think that a website is better than no website. And then the targeted website can be the next step for you. So if you are just starting out, it's okay to have sort of the more general personas. But I think if you already have been in the business for a while, if you have your specializations figured out, creating good defined personas and crafting the website pages for them will make it so much more effective.
Thank you so much. It reminds me the advice that I'm sharing with my mentees about the CV and how important it is to have a specialized CV so as to have the results that you want. So it's the same process. I have two questions. What if you have more than one specialization and the avatars are two different avatars? What do you suggest in such cases to your clients? And
yeah, it's one of the most common questions. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. We'll continue.
It's one of the most common questions.
Yeah.
Because a lot of translators do have 2-3 main specializations. Yeah. And then what we do is, so you have the homepage where you kind of lay everything out, and it's your shop window. You try to attract people to read those other pages. If those specializations are quite similar, then it's much easier to target. If those specializations are very different, then what we do is often we split those specializations into separate pages. So you would have a dedicated full-length page just for that specialization. And yes, it will be mentioned on the homepage, but then you direct those types of clients straight to that sort of, I call it the mini landing page. So sort of that it contains everything that that particular type of clients might need to know in that particular specialization. So we do sort of split the website into different sections.
Okay, we have a question from a member here, but we'll see it in a bit.
Okay.
So you advise us to have, if we have two different, like medical and legal, which are two different, very different specializations, we have one homepage where we mention both of them, and then we redirect them to two mini landing pages in our website. Is that correct?
That would be a good idea, because also by doing that one clear landing page, you make it clear for Google as well about what this whole page is about. So it will be easier for Google to determine whether it's relevant to what people are searching for.
You have one domain name, and the landing page. The landing page will have a sub domain name of the main domain name of your website.
Yeah. So it also depends, on your goals and on your budgets as well. We have done a few projects where we have two separate websites, under different domains.
Do you suggest
but they would be.
Do you suggest
that really depends. It might not have. If you do plan a sort of content marketing campaign towards that particular group, then maybe you need to split them up, and then focus on just this one specialization, on just this one website. But the reality is that by having 2 websites or 3 websites, you will have to update all of them. You will have to take care of all of them. And then that kind of maintenance and sort of updating them and taking care of all of these websites just adds you time that you could otherwise spend differently. But there are different approaches, and that usually depends on your goals, on your specializations, and on the budget as well.
You were trying to mention something else. You mentioned the one example of someone that you created 2 different websites for them, and the other example would be
the most common, which is you have one website and then you have separate, clear sub pages on this one website.
Subpages. Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. Do you have any avatar exercise or online tool that you could recommend to people watching us? For my mentees, I think it's the most difficult exercise that we do during the mentoring program, and it's the most complaints they come. I cannot do this avatar. I find it very difficult. I didn't complete this exercise. I couldn't, and I have 3 or 4 different avatar exercises, but still they find it very difficult. Do you use any specific tool online, or do you have something you could share?
So I created something like that for the academy. So we have that in the academy. There's a worksheet for that as well.
The worksheet, okay.
I know that HubSpot has a tool for that as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but it's okay. But I think the most something that people find difficult is sort of deciding on that avatar, because at some point you have to you have to decide which ones you want and which ones are they going to be. And then you might not know the exact details of that person.
That's the main problem. They tell me that they do not know the details still for their ideal
so by trying to find out as much as possible about that target audience, and as we mentioned before, the networking, talking to your clients, this might be, with time, I think you will define your avatars better and better.
Okay, great. So let's answer the question. In order to see your name of the comment, you have to click the link above of this live. So it says, hi, Meg, I've got a question for you. In your opinion, is it important for translators to have a portfolio section on their website? Do you think it's a must-have section? Or do you want to answer it later?
So yeah, I actually talk about the must-have structure later.
Okay, so
but I think...
Oh, whatever you prefer.
Just not to forget, I'm just going to quickly answer. So it definitely helps if you do have a portfolio. Some people will not be able to put a portfolio because of the various NDAs that they have signed during the project. And then there are a few ways around it. You can mention describe the project, but not give any details of them. But then obviously people can't really see your work anyway. So if you only have examples that are online that you can link to, that are in print maybe, then yes, I would definitely recommend that. And that anything that increases your credibility, I would definitely recommend to have on the website.
And can I ask a stupid question? Like, in what form do you like the portfolio? Like source and target text, or just an idea and description of a project? So
we've done a few. So there are some that obviously, if you're translating books, you can put book covers, and that's kind of the easiest portfolio.
Nice. Movies, subtitling, it's also easier. Movies.
Yes, exactly. If you translate any media, websites, books, movies, then you can put I usually recommend to add the visual part. And then underneath you can put a little description or next to the photo. And if you can link to those projects, then that's even better, like to the Amazon book or to the website that you've translated. If you just have sort of source text and then translated text, then yeah, that's also useful because people can already start seeing your work. And I don't think it has to be like the whole article or the whole thing, because I don't think people will read that necessarily. It's just something to start showing your clients what you can do, and then they always have the possibility to request more examples or ask you for more information, ask you for your CV on the website. So it's like just a little taster of the portfolio, and then encourage them to get in touch with you, which is what you want to do, because once you do have their details, then it's up to you, then you can make it work.
And what if it's something very really boring, like legal or medical pharmaceutical translation? How do you put that on a portfolio, like source and target text?
Yeah, you can do that as well. Source and target. I think a lot of legal medical are quite covered by the NDA. Yeah, exactly. So you might need to find an open source file, and then use that to show. Just do a sample translation then. So that really depends on the what kind of clients you've been working with, but these will usually be protected.
Yeah, because I really prefer the movies, as you mentioned, the books, because they have also a nice image that you can send. Like the whole page might be more like book, but when you have something really boring, like even if it's not covered by an NDA, it's not that nice to see target and source text, something like that. I find it a bit boring. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a better way to do that, because in the end, the translation has to do with words. And you can definitely add some design features, like you can add some medical photos around it, and there are many different ways you can arrange that.
That's very interesting.
So just to make it a little bit more visually interesting.
Okay, thank you for sharing it. Let's continue, because the time is also half of the time. Second common mistake.
Yeah, the second common mistake I actually picked up few months ago, I've noticed that a lot of people, when sending us a text, they do forget completely about the homepage. So it's like we work on the text, we prepare it, and then people send a lot of sort of long essays about for the about page, a full spreadsheet on services, which is awesome, specializations, contact page, and then the homepage is sometimes only sort of like this 3 or 4 sentences. Welcome to my page. Please click through, which is I think you should not forget about homepage, because this is the page where most people will land on first. So actually, this is your chance to get them interested, to show them already that you might be the person for the job that they are looking for. So I think not forget. So I think forgetting the homepage is the second mistake that I picked up on, and it is your front office sort of. It is your digital front office. So I would treat it. As such. So what we usually do is we put a little teaser of each sort of sub page as well, so that to lead them on through to the section that they are interested in, but to give them enough information to decide whether you're what they're looking for, to show them the language press, the specializations, why the benefits of working with you, some testimonials, any social proof, credibility indicators, and so on. So definitely, please do not forget the homepage, because it's the page that most people will see first.
Thank you so much. That's very interesting. And the third most common mistake?
The third one I already also touched upon, which is sort of writing long pieces of text for the website. That's common across all industries. I think that's because I think we are taught in school of many different ways of writing. We write essays, dissertations, and these are all kind of long bits of text, and that's how we then try to write for the website. But in reality, so I've looked for a few different studies, and it shows that most people actually don't read websites. So researchers vary, but sort of between 16% to 28% will actually read the website, and the rest will just scan it. So they are looking for visual cues and the keywords and the headings that might indicate whether this is what they're looking for. People will skim read it and scroll through and just look for the information that they want, rather than read all the sections page by page. And there was another interesting study that I found as well, where they presented 5 different sort of arrangements on the website. And the first one was a long bit of text about some historical data. And then when they combined sort of the approach of making it more concise, shorter, scannable, so they just put a 1 sentence above and then everything else in bullet points under that. They increased that website's usability by 124%.
Wow.
So yeah, that's quite a lot. And I think it just shows that that by working on your copy a little bit in advance, just by splitting it into shorter bits of text, making it eye-catching where it needs to be, and leading the client through the different sections, you can definitely maximize your website usability, the user experience of your website, and make it more effective as a result.
And I am that kind of user. I can tell myself I don't read a lot, so I'm not in the 20% of the people that they read it. But I had a recent experience of my own, because I created the landing page for my new mentoring program, the Fully Booked Translator Formula, on my own. And I thought that they might need that information, and I found it a bit long. But still, there were people with more questions, that the idea wasn't clear, or they had more questions for the program, even if it was still very long.
Yeah.
And the reason was because I would like to cover as many as questions and they might have for that program, or to include all the benefits, for example. So the benefits were very long, or my story. So even if I try to avoid it and I'm not that person that I read so much information, even if when you start something really new and people are not familiar with the content, they would like to find out more and how they can benefit from that program, they need that information. What do you suggest in such cases?
You could, for that particular case, you could create a video, for example, that explains a few main points in detail. But I think you can just you can still give them information, but try to maybe make it more concise and split it into smaller sections. But there will be people who will have questions.
Yeah, I was so surprised. I was so surprised that there were still questions.
Yeah, the stuff can be on the website, and we have that as well. Like we have a lot of pages where I explain things, but people just sometimes prefer to get in touch and talk to a real person, and I think that's quite natural as well. So we do have those different kinds of audiences, and some people, the 20% of people will read our pages. Then there will be the other people who skim read them and then write us a message. And then there will be people who just pick up the phone and call us straight away without looking at the majority of our page.
Okay.
So it's like you can't cater to everyone, but I think by making it a little bit more maybe eye-catching, then you can maximize the usability.
We need your skills and designing skills to do that, I guess. So people, if you do that, please do go to an expert, because it's very difficult to do that on your own. So let's continue. We have 2 more common mistakes translators make when they create their websites.
And not just translators, just everyone.
But this live is for translators, so I like to say that because our audience are language professionals in general, so it's okay.
Yes. So not taking SEO into account when building the website is another common thread. So because I think it comes with maybe SEO is not that well known yet. Well, it is. People know what it is, but people don't know necessarily how it works exactly. So a lot of people say that it's something that you can add at the end of the project, sort of like, okay, now I have a website, and now I'm going to SEO optimize it, which in reality, you should start optimizing it the moment you start designing it. So the moment you start writing the content, you should include the keyword research into that content creation, for example. So you should include the personas, as well, when writing your content. And that SEO should sort of you should keep it in mind when creating the website at every step of the way, so that it's as optimized as it can be before the launch. So it's not something that you add later, because you can get much better results by doing the research and optimization while you work on the website.
But and of course, it is something that you can do later if you haven't done already.
It is something. It's you can definitely do that later. It's just when you do that while creating the website, it will be better integrated. So then if you release a website and it's not SEO optimized, it will be hard to optimize the content once it's already on the website.
It's more difficult, and you have
change everything. Not everything. You will have to rewrite certain parts. You might want to then change the structure as well. The structure is important for SEO as well. So it's good to have that in mind while you're preparing the website. And also one thing I wanted to mention is that when you do launch a website, it will take a few weeks for it to appear in Google. And probably a few months to rank for different keywords.
Exactly.
So it's not going to suddenly pop up for, I don't know, a German to English translator in London the day that it is launched. And I think the main thing I'm trying to say is that SEO takes time as well.
In general, not only on websites, because I'm taking a digital marketing course right now, and they told us like 3 to 6 months to start seeing results. So
exactly, definitely.
And we had a live with Maeva Cifuentes on SEO specifically. So if you would like to find out more details on SEO, what is SEO, the history of SEO, what you have to do nowadays to rank higher on Google, you can go back and watch that live as well.
Yeah, I watched that. It was awesome. So please go and watch it.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything else about SEO, or let's go to the next common mistake?
No, we can go to the next one,
Okay.
because I think in the SEO video with Maeva you have really a lot of it covered.
No, I would really
SEO.
like to have your opinion on that, and also that you mentioned that you have to take into consideration SEO before you create your website. That's a great advice to those that they want to
before
create a
and
website.
while creating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also, Ileana says, in any case, each year you have to add change. Always something. It's a continuous evolution, isn't it?
Yes, definitely, because the algorithms change, the rules change constantly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you do have to kind of pay attention and change and adapt every year, every few months, and that depends on how active you are, whether you have a blog and a content strategy. But yes, definitely, you have to keep an eye on it and change it.
Okay, and let's see the last one, because I really love it and I find it very useful, the last common mistake that you have.
So the last one is kind of connected as well. They are all connected for me, at least. And so when we do publish a new website, so launching a new website, and some people expect it to just start bringing them clients instantly.
Exactly.
So it's like you launch a website and you go, right, work done, and I can now go and do something else. So I wouldn't suggest to do that, because the launch of the website is really only the start, the beginning, and this enables you, this great digital tool enables you to do all those other kinds of marketing, inbound and outbound, that you want to that you can implement in your business. So the websites also need to be maintained, updated, checked, and as you said, maybe SEO needs to be tweaked every few months. So it's sort of a constant. I don't want to say work, but it is a piece of time that you have to
process. It's a process.
Yeah,
and also it's like marketing in general. Like every marketing strategy or every marketing process, it's a long-term process. And I also say that to my mentees, because they tell me, okay, I'm going to send my CV, but I know that they won't send me work right now. Okay, you do not send emails, or you do not contact clients, or you do not go to networking events because you are going to have a client like after the next day of that event, or the day that you send an email. But it's a process that has to be implemented and done in order to see results after some days. Some people, they see directly results. Like when I go as an exhibitor to exhibitions, I get like my investment right after the conference or the exhibition with 1 or 2 projects I get. But I know with email marketing, for example, it's a long-term process. Or when I contact agencies or LSPs, I know that I'm not going to have a work like the next day, but it's something to be done in order to see results in 6 months or 1 year.
Definitely.
And also I get complaints and comments like, okay, I've never seen any client from my website, and why to have a website is no. From my MBA thesis that I did in the survey, the client acquisition strategies for language professionals, I got as an answer the website. So many language professionals, they get results and get clients from their website. It was one of the most common answers there. But I would like to hear your opinion. You covered that a bit, but how do you get clients from your website? What is an efficient way to get clients? Like to have a coach page, get a coach, to keep sharing your website everywhere, to have a blog writing there?
So many.
So many,
because it depends on your audience as well. So if you have like specializations that are more prone to content marketing, like travel tourism marketing itself, for example, then having a blog and doing content marketing strategy, that will be one of the very effective strategies as well. And if you have other specializations, you might want to, especially when you do launch a website, it's a new website, it's fresh. This is a great opportunity to reach out to your potential clients that you'd like to work with, to your old clients that you haven't heard from in a while, to current clients as well. And do a little bit of that outbound marketing before it starts generating new clients on its own. So yeah, there are many ways of doing that.
But you mentioned already the most common is an SEO optimization, that it takes time, is content strategy.
Content marketing, email marketing, and generally just being proactive about it. So, and also connecting it to the rest of of your professional image.
That's
so
nice.
Including the link in your directories, directory entries, in your professional online profiles, because the website can bring you clients in two ways. So directly, so you will receive an inquiry through the website, and you will know that it's through the website, and indirectly. So someone might find you in, I don't know, Chartered Institute of Linguists directory, and they have a couple of people that they want to speak to. They will click through to their websites. They really like your website. They see how professional you are, how approachable you are. They contact you. They give you a call, and you can even ask them, how did you find me? And they will say, well, Chartered Institute of Linguists directory. But they actually contacted you because they liked your website.
Or they found the information that they would like to see on your website in order to hire you instead of someone else there. And as I keep saying, for me, website doesn't bring me clients directly because, okay, I haven't done the work that is needed behind that. But indirectly, as you mentioned, I think a lot of people, they need, especially direct clients, they need to see an online presence, professional, so as to trust you and give you work. So you have to have a professional website because that's your office, as you said, your front office to your clients. So you have to have a professional image, so for them to hire you and to trust you, to give you work.
I think the trust element is the key word. The trust and credibility.
Exactly. Okay, thank you so much, because the time runs and we want to keep it 1 hour. I won't interrupt you. You can go straight and say the 5 must-haves, and I will come back with the questions after you complete. Okay?
Okay.
So as not to make it long for you. Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go for the 5 must-haves. So we're going to continue. People are saying, great to hear from you again. Keep doing this. So thank you so much for your encouragement and nice comments.
So the first must-have is sort of the must-have structure that I wanted to mention. So the core of the website should be at least the homepage that is well developed and sort of your shop window, the services page, the about, the profile, who's behind the website, who's behind the service, and the contact page. But these are like sort of the core that you can start from, the minimum, I think. And then
the specializations. You mentioned also the specializations for translator.
So these are the services page can be also, you can add specializations there. And as I said, some people will not have clearly defined specializations. So the 4 home services about contact are sort of the bare minimum. And then what we usually recommend as well is having a specializations page. Once you do start specializing, it's very important. FAQ pages. So FAQ pages are good for 2 reasons: for your clients, potential clients, and also for SEO, because you can craft your questions alongside some SEO questions as well that people look for, and that's very helpful as well. Or you can even turn blog posts into your FAQ answers, which is a part of your content strategy. And pricing. So, but I know that a lot of translators and interpreters, they don't want to include pricing on their website. But this is also a tab that people will click on. So even if you don't want to reveal your full pricing, and you don't want, because you have different prices for everyone, then you can give them an idea of how are you pricing your projects, and then to encourage them to find out more by contacting you. But this is also a tab that whoever you're looking for, I think on the website, if you're looking for, I don't know, a lawyer or an accountant, body treatments, a plumber, I don't know, you will click on that pricing page just to see what kind of pricing should you expect, or how will they measure the time or anything. So
for us, I think, it's very difficult for language professionals, because I know myself that even if I have a stable rate, for example, it's different if the delivery date or the deadline is more strict. So it has a percentage that I cannot tell from the beginning if I do not know exactly the deadline or the cooperation terms,
Exactly.
or as if there is a specialized terminology, for example. So there are so many other
variables
variables in order to determine that, but it's a very nice alternative that you mentioned, that we can just mention the process or how we price our services.
How will we price the project?
And then a call to action, like contact us if you want to find out more.
Or you can even have a contact form on that pricing page at the end of it, to encourage them to price their project. And it's if the price is right for them, they can go through with it. If not, then they will look somewhere else. But at least today you have that option to sort of encourage them further and further to keep asking you questions.
Okay, thank you. That's very clever that you mentioned. Thank you so much. Very helpful.
And we also mentioned before, when we were talking about the structure, having separate pages for separate specializations, or separate pages for separate services, because some people have a very developed interpreting section of their business, and then the translation section may be dealing with a couple more specializations, or is slightly different. We had that as well. So just not to put everything on one services page, and not to make a sort of mix and match of everything. You can have a separate page for interpreting, separate page for translation, and separate page for training, or some people do teaching as well. So you can have separate pages for those.
Page. You mean as a sub page in the main, like you can have the services, then you can have tabs to click, different tabs that redirect them to a different page.
To a different page, that is dedicated to that service. So it enhances the usability, and it enhances the SEO as well, because you can write a little bit more about each service, and then Google knows, okay, that page is strictly about, I don't know, legal translation. So I will index it as such.
Nice, thank you so much. Let's continue.
So the second tip was to have a few different modes of contact mentioned on your website. So you will have a contact form, and it's always good to also give people other ways of contact you, simply because if one doesn't work, then they have other options, and also because people prefer different modes of contact. So some might go straight through the contact form, some might just prefer to click on your email, and some will call you, some will, in some countries, WhatsApp is very popular, so they will start WhatsApping you. So giving them a few different options first ensures that if they want to contact you, their inquiry will reach you. And second, just accounts for, again, all those different types of clients as well.
I cannot hold myself to ask you, because I had with Teswiti a podcast last week, and she asked me about chatbots. What is your opinion? Because nowadays everything happens online. Chatbot it's a way to have an instant access with that website owner. What do you suggest on that?
So I would only use a chat when there is a live person at the end of it. So if I had what you can do is you can install the chat and then have an app on your phone, so that when somebody talks to you, it pops out as a notification on your phone. So it's almost, it's like a real-time interaction. I don't think I would use a chatbot that is automatic.
Like Facebook, I don't like it either.
I don't know. It's if you're not going to answer quite quickly, then that chat box becomes slightly unnecessary, maybe. Also, those chat plugins are quite heavy sometimes on the speed of the website, so you need to just take into account. I had a Facebook chat box on our website, but it was just slowing it down so much that it wasn't worth it, so I deleted it.
Is there an app that you suggest to take a look, for example? The app that you mentioned on our mobile?
We often use Drift. So you can check that out. And there was another one, something with a live chat, but I can't remember. But I'll check it out.
Thank you. If we can share it in the comments. Yes, because I've been asked about that. So I think you are the right person to answer it. Because I gave a presentation how to turn your clients happy and then turn them into promoters at BP conference. And then I had this podcast with Tess. And one of the ways that I say how to turn your hub clients into promoters is to be interactive, to have an interactive website.
Be available.
And a way, and a way to become more interactive through your website was to have an instant way of contacting, to help them be very close to you, like having a chat or something. So that's the whole history behind of that. Okay, okay, sorry.
So I would use it, but only if you can respond to it personally, or if you have.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great advice. That's great advice that you shared with us. Thank you so much.
So that was the different contact forms, contact modes of contact. And then the third one I wanted to share is for your language pair to be clearly visible on the website. I don't know. I think it's because we often think that some things about our business are quite obvious, but they might not be as obvious to our clients. And especially when they do look at the website, they will not be willing to dig deep to find out what is it that you actually translate, what kind of languages they can order here. So it's very important, and I try to also include that in every website that we do, that the language pairs are very prominent on most of the pages, especially the homepage, the landing page that people will see, so that they can already see whether that language pair is what they were looking for. And if you do offer other language pairs, then just include that. But I was quite surprised to find a few websites where it wasn't very clear what the person does and what they translate.
I have another reason why translators they do that. They might want to cover other language combinations as well, so they don't want to limit to their language combination rather than to be able to serve the client's needs upon request.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
in order, if they want to cover more language combinations through by outsourcing, for example, having a team of translators, they do not want to limit their services on language combinations by specifically mentioning their own language combinations. So
but then you can say, then you can say, well, this is my language combination, but I do also work with a network of professionals, and we also provide this and this language. This is what we sometimes do as well. And if we work with a bigger agency that covers 100 languages, then they usually list those languages, or there is a list that you can choose from. But I think it's important for people to find if you have the language they are looking for. Even if you work in a bigger group, I think it's okay to include all those other languages, just for people to see. Oh, okay, they translate from Polish. I can approach them. I think that's very important.
Okay, I'm taking notes here.
Okay.
And
the fourth thing I wanted to mention is the writing. When preparing the content for the website, we talked about the homepage and how it needs to be, the text needs to be split into smaller sections in general, but writing for the client instead of just writing about yourself, I think that's very important nowadays as well. So instead of writing I do this, I provide that, I live in, just try to turn it more into a you-oriented text. So how can I help you? I can help you with this, or these are your problems that I can solve, and try to make it client-centered rather than centered around the description of you. So this is also something I wanted to mention, and this is also something that we work on quite a lot of websites to turn the focus towards the client, basically.
Yeah, that's very interesting that you mentioned that. It's difficult to know exactly your client's questions if you are not many years in the business, maybe by creating a research form or something in order to find out what are their needs or their questions, or you have to
but it's also about the tone of voice that you use. So something more engaging, something more, that is about the client. So I can help you with rather than I provide, for example.
Okay, great. So, and what is UX that you mentioned in your comments? UX journey, UX?
UX, user experience.
Okay. And this is the UX writing that we see is from user experience, UX.
So yeah, user experience that it has a lot of elements, and what we are talking about today actually it's a lot about the user experience.
Yeah.
So user experience is about the whole website, the way the website is structured, the way it's written, the way that the buttons work, the way that the chat pops up. And all those other elements influence user experience. So what you want to do ultimately is make that user experience great.
Thank you so much. We have one last, and we are on time, I guess. 1 minute more to mention the last must-have. Yeah.
Yeah. So the one last thing that I wanted to mention is having a strategy for your website. So once you do create the website, have a strategy on what are you going to do next with it. And that kind of goes along with the last mistake that I mentioned about just having a website and just leaving it on the side and directing your focus towards other things. I think once you do have a website, have a strategy for what to do with it. You can promote it with new clients, reconnect with old clients. You can do targeted Google ads. You can start doing SEO, start doing content marketing. You can include this link in all your social profiles and make it a center of all your other marketing activities. So just having that strategy and knowing what you want to do next will maximize the effectiveness of that website. So the investment that you've put into the website will then return. You will have the return on investment earlier if you do start working with this website rather than just having it.
Okay, so the last mistake that we covered already. So you've given us many details on how to do that and create that strategy. Thank you so much. If you still have any comments and questions, you can comment below this video. We would like to keep it 1 hour. And one last question I got for my mentees, how to choose the domain name, and if you agree to use their name, or if you help them also to choose their domain name for their website. And
sorry, say that again.
The domain name. If you help them to choose a domain name, if you agree with them that they might use their own name, like having their first name or last name and translations, for example, or if you encourage them to find something more resourceful, or I don't know.
Oh, so that depends on, really depends on the business and on the business name. A lot of people trade under their own name, so then their name makes sense. If you do have translations in the name, it kind of makes it obvious straight away what you do. But some people also, they have other language services. So they offer translation, they offer interpreting, they offer teaching, and they don't want to have that translations in the website address. So then we come up, it's usually either a brand name or your own name or something, and translations. Sometimes the language pairs if you're lucky. Mm-hmm. Or some specializations as well, like pharma translator or
nice,
yeah, so you can do that as well. So then it really targets you into that specialization.
So you help them.
Yeah, what we do is we do help them choose at the beginning of the project, and when it comes to buying a domain as well.
Thank you so much. We'll be speaking 1 hour and some minutes. Thank you all of you for being here live. Thank you, Leanna. Thank you guys for your comments. Thank you, Meg, so much. You were so generous with your knowledge and information that you shared. If you still have more questions, thank you. You're welcome, Federica. They say very interesting video. Yes, that's why we created this lab, because I thought that you might find it interesting, and Meg answers most of the questions that I get from my mentees. So I think you will find it very helpful, even if you're going to watch the recording. If you still have questions, you can comment below the video, and Meg is a member of our community, so she's going to see your comments and questions and follow up with you. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Thank you so much, Meg. I hope to cooperate, both of us, in many other projects in the future as well.
Definitely.
And see you next Friday. We have a great guest. So stay tuned, and bye-bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.